So here we are, map number 2 of this best of 3. Two awesome players going to be duking it out. Going to be putting on a good little bit of fun. So let's see where they're spawning. To the top right, representing XMG, we've got the blue Protoss player, Socke. And his opponent down to the lower left, the red Zerg player representing Rocket, HyuN. HyuN 1-0 up in this best of 3, so if he wins this, instantly doubles the minimum prize money he'll earn up to a grand total of 150 euros. And he gets himself into the finals where obviously he has a chance to double it again to 300. Socke needs to win this map because if he doesn't, he leaves this tournament with the 75 euro 3rd, 4th spot prize. Still a good achievement, up against the player of HyuN's caliber, HyuN's experience, nothing to be ashamed of. But Socke really is a great player himself, and I think that if HyuN wasn't just so on the ball with that defense last game, it could have been a lot more rough. So it'll be very interesting to see what Socke does this game. HyuN is already drone scouting, so HyuN is a bit concerned about what could be coming through. Wants to just make extra sure that nothing treacherous is happening. Wants to make sure there's no proxy 2 gates. Wants to know what kind of opening there's going to be. Sees that it's a Nexus first, and this is now irritating times. A little part of me, the Zerg player in me, gets like ridiculously happy that a Nexus is being blocked. The amount of times Protoss players pylon block or something like that, your natural base is a Zerg. On ladder, you hate that. So seeing HyuN get revenge just makes me feel so happy. Anyway, HyuN, happy going hatch pool yet again. This is the same way he opened on Frost. Difference being is Overgrowth is a much smaller map. It's a better map for going for aggressive 2 base plays. Very easy to be incredibly effective pushing through this area, and that's because force fields can zone out ridiculously well in so many different places here. So an Immortal Sentry play is possible. However, HyuN did defend that beautifully in the first map of this series. The reason it didn't quite work out for him as well as he may have wanted, or for Socke, was it came a lot later due to that early Zealot aggression, which, while it worked quite well, it only killed off Lings, it didn't kill the 3rd hatch, and generally that's the mark. If that push has been successful, the 3rd hatch will be dead. And then the follow-up push is quite scary. But because it's staged, sure, a lot of Lings were forced, about 50 lava worth of Lings were produced in order to defend that. But it's just not a big loss because the 3rd hatch is still there, the 3 queens are there, the injects hit, the drone count spirals, and your own tech's delayed and that follow-up push is delayed. It's not something that's going to be too hard for HyuN to defend. And as I said at the end of game number 1, the snipe of the Mothership core was spectacular. That is how you instantly take it all down. So we'll wait and see exactly what they've got planned, but yeah, for the most part this looks fairly standard. 4 Lings coming out for HyuN, just going to be getting a little bit of map awareness. His Overlord already doing a good job of scouting down, wants to know how many gases are there. Forge following up here for Socke, so he's going to be looking for a quick +1, possibly going into a quick +2. Things like big Blinkstalk plays can start off this way. Immortal Sentry builds can start off this way too. So lots of different things could be coming down. 2 additional gates, wait to see if we've got more tech or a 3rd gate. If we get, obviously, the 3rd gate, we're going to be seeing just some delayed 4-gate pressure. Pretty simple. With +1, it can be quite annoying. If it's tech, it depends a lot what kind of tech it can be. Few Lings just being annoying, irritating, frustrating, forcing this Mothership core to get her lasers dirty. I don't even know how you get your lasers dirty. But still, +1 coming through. No sign of any additional tech yet. Gonna be really interested to see what it will be. Meanwhile, HyuN, his 3rd base is established. Obviously it was a hatch pool build, so this is very early. Adding in just drones, and more drones. They get a fair few Lings out on the field, but that forces back, or kills off the Zealot, keeps full map control on HyuN's side. No further indication of what tech's going to be coming out, just a lot of sentries. +1, That's about a third done now. The Roach one coming down for HyuN behind this. It looks like an... Ooh, could this be a really quick attempt at a third? Probe coming over. Overlord can see it, and yeah, it's gonna be. Big switch up in terms of strategy from Socke here. He's just gonna be going for a big economic build. Chucking down a huge amount of probes. Gonna be looking to get +2 out quite quickly. Should be seeing the Twilight Council start relatively soon. He may go 1-1, but generally you'll see the +2 attack first. So, yep, Twilight Council, right on cue. Blink could come off the back of this. Blink is actually a really good choice. It can be really frustrating trying to stop that. Overlord will die, but this Overlord really doesn't see some of the important things. Let me grab some vision of HyuN. No, doesn't see the Twilight Council. Does see the Forge though. That's alright, and he knows about the third base. Probably has a good idea what's coming. So even though the Twilight Council wasn't seen, it's one of those things that through deduction you can work out that's really quite likely. That's something that I'm probably gonna see. Additional gates now being added in. This is going up to now 7 gates once more. Third base is up though, so this isn't an aggressive 7 gates. This is just a normal amount. You can actually quite happily support 10 gates off this. +2 and Blink both being researched now, both being chrono boosted, and this can lead to a big Blink play aggression. Robotics facility also being added in. This is just some normal teching up. Meanwhile from HyuN, he's happy to just pump roaches right now. He's at 69 drones, no giggles about that. But he's also got, obviously, a great army now. So his economy is perfect. Pretty much, or he is fully saturated. Every base. He should actually be slightly oversaturated in one base. So that's all good for him. And he's got a really large force. He's pushing forward with it too. This is not something to be underestimated. With roach speed, and of course, just such a large group of units, these sentries could be in some trouble. They can mass recall out. If HyuN sees these, he doesn't yet. Okay, he's just caught them. Mass recall is going to be forced. Can't get one, but that would have been just... If that mothership core wasn't there, that would have been devastating. The mass recall came to the natural as well, so this means the third can still be attacked quite comfortably. The concern for Socke is trying to get over there to defend. Force field baited early. They're good force fields, but this allows HyuN to move across. Big waves of warp-ins, and his army has been trapped. Beautiful force fields there from Socke, making sure that HyuN cannot retreat. Photon overcharge, the photon cannons, they're all doing their work. And this has been a great defense by Socke. He's able to hold off the onslaught of the swarm. Been able to trade with it incredibly cost effectively. And those force fields are just right on the money. Socke really doing just some fantastic stuff here. Really stepping it up. And HyuN, the losses he took there were frustrating. He didn't really pick off anything, like 7 Zealots for 14 Roaches and 27 Zerglings. That's not a trade you ever want to take. You don't sit there and think, oh yeah. Like, that's the sort of trade you make, like... I can't even think of a good analogy. That's just really annoying for HyuN. He's getting 11 Mutas out, but bear in mind, Blink +2, and there's a ton of sentries there. These Mutalisks are gonna have a really tough time. Like, really tough. Ridiculously. They need to go in with the main army, because otherwise, this force just focuses them down and they die. A good number of links can be helpful, but remember, force fields are just going to be so effective against that. In come the links though, they do manage to get a decent amount of surface area. The roach is there too. The blink away exposes all of the sentries to the Mutalisks, roaches and zerglings. Down a lot go, already 9 killed. That's a lot of resources. The warp prism also trying to get sniped, prevents the warp in of stalkers. More lings, more mutas, more roaches. Pushing through. The Mutalisks aren't being focused because of the lings and roaches on the ground. A lot of damage being done here. Down the mothership core goes, and HyuN continues to push forward. Trading incredibly well, chasing off these blink stalkers. These mutas, they don't care about no +2. They care about killing off Protoss. And that's what they're doing. HyuN getting just a beautiful engagement there. Absolutely perfect. And now, let's look at this resources loss. Swinging hugely in favor of HyuN. An incredible amount of gas died there. And that's just not what Socke can afford. Being on 3 bases, sure, it's good, but you can't throw away what is 9 sentries and 24 stalkers for just a handful of zerglings. And okay, it was a big handful. It was more like a mountain full of zerglings. But still, minerals are not something that HyuN is concerned about right now. He's mining 2,000 minerals a minute. He can afford Zerglings. He can afford lots of Zerglings. He's got a macro hatch and 4 bases. Lava ain't a problem for him either. Now Socke really is on the back foot. He's down by about 60 supply. He needs to blink these Stalkers for their blinking lives. He starts doing that, backing away. The Zerglings laying chase though. If they get a good wrap around, it's going to be so frustrating. Sure, the Stalkers can blink out of it, but the muta count is just getting so high. Punishing these small groups of Stalkers exposed on their own. Punishing this natural base that's now undefended. HyuN battling through. Barreling down the natural. Killing off all the probes. The Stalkers, they're being microed exquisitely by Socke, but it's an annihilation. Sure, this attack to the side may have been stopped, but just look at the mutas in the main. GG is called. And HyuN battles back after that first failed push to a beautiful defense and a beautiful win. He takes this series 2-0 and advances into the finals of the April Go for SC2 Monthly.